Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Heyo and welcome in today. You're joined by me, Daniel, and we are drawing a squirrel. We are painting a 90-minute art challenge. Now this is a painting that you do within 90 minutes. For me, it's actually recorded 90 minutes, so I've actually every second that I record, is a second. I do take little breaks and things. Usually only like 1 minute or so, just to maybe sit back and look at it, or if there's something going on, I can go fix it. Or if I need a certain type of layer, I can kind of um, add that layer as not recorded time, basically. So it's somewhere between 90 minutes. Um, but I did one last night. Um, that was a little bit more frustrating, and I swear it took me, I did it, and it really took me kind of 2 hours. But there's only an hour and a half recorded time. But it did take me longer to play around and do things. This one here wasn't too bad. It was pretty straightforward. I was pretty much constantly painting and drawing. Um, there was not much at all breaks or anything like that. Just, breathers to um, make sure everything was going smoothly. Checking times of how long I've got to do this thing. Little things like that. Just yeah. And stopping and starting the clock can be annoying too, I'm looking at that. It's like, having a stopwatch. I'm actually clicking the stopwatch on when I'm painting, and then turning it off on Google. And I'm looking at, well, maybe I need a physical one um for that, because having to do it on the computer means that I have to kind of click that button, um, do the start the recording, and then start painting. Um, where I might be able to, if I get a physical, and I can, um, click the button as I push to start recording, and go. I don't have to worry too much. Um, about the things on screen, and making sure the things are in the right place. My reference, I have two screens set up. So I have one screen, which is what you're seeing now, and then another screen where it's recording what I'm doing. Also, I may have another tab open, or usually the reference of what I'm drawing in a bigger screen, so I can see it more closely. Because when I do look at it, sometimes it's quite small in the corner there. I can't see all the details, so I need a closer, bigger image. I can see it a little bit clearer looking at another image. And also, I was playing around last night with, trying to find a better solution to try um, try to do these 90-minute art challenges, the way I'm sitting, and um, the way I can see my references. Um, but at the moment, there's only so much I can do. I don't have the best chair in the world at the moment. I've just got one of it. I had to use a table chair that I got, because the chair I was using for quite a while, the computer chair that I've had for quite a while, um, has one of its kind of lever things that adjust the backboard to go up and down, is kind of broken, so it's not the greatest to sit on. So I switched that out to just a table chair, because it's a little better, um, yeah, it did look at the start. I reckon it has a little bit of a feel of the artwork, the Scream, to begin with. I wasn't at this point. I wasn't too happy with what was going on with the image and things like that. But even looking at the end, I'm not too. I don't mind it at the end when it's finished. But I still feel like there's things I can do better and things I need to improve on. Um, but hey, this 90-minute art challenge, it's not meant to be, this is the prettiest image I can create, within 90 minutes. It's more a learning curve, and for me, definitely it is. It's a learning curve and trying to grow as an artist, and that's what I'm using them as. I've done a few, uh, backgrounds and things like that, landscapes, with these paintings because I don't, I've done a decent amount of landscapes now um, with my children's book that I've created and things like that, but I still kind of don't do it too often per se, out of kind of going out of my comfort zone, doing more industrialized backgrounds that I can find, and some are very landscapey and have a lot of far distances and things like that. So it's not something I always do. So it's always challenging, and even this scene, I don't. Or at least I don't think I do very well at is extinguishing the background and the character and so blurring out the background and things like that, making things in focus and out of focus. I think I struggle with that too, so that kind of thing I'm dealing with here is trying to make things in focus and out of focus. And yeah, there's a lot of things in this image that I can tackle. Um, yeah. As I was saying in one of my videos that I was doing, I was saying you can kind of learn something, can um, you know you may learn how to render wood or something like that. Um, but and render it in a piece of wood, in a square cube as a piece of wood, a sphere as a piece of wood, um, which is good, and it lets you understand if you render those ways. But if you don't use it in any other way, then you won't get any better at it or anything like that. You won't have any like a real application basically. If you don't have like a real application that you use it, um, then won't engrave in you, and you won't kind of get better at it and get really good at it. So that's what I try to do here. Try to use some things that I've learned in the past and some things that I'm new to, that I'm slowly learning and growing at with. Um, with here making this beam. As I said, I wasn't too happy with it. It's like it was spewing up or something. I was trying to make sure that, we know that it's a beam of sunlight. Um, and excuse me for a second. Yeah, so you see me here. I'm adding in like some highlights in this beam, um, and just tackling that beam, making sure it does kind of look like a beam. I also dial it back too. as well. I make it look more see-through basically. Towards I think a little bit towards the middle of this painting. Um, as you can see, I'm kind of I think I started out all over the place and just jotting kind of all the major details and things like that. And I feel like it's, I'm just trying to get everything down and get it all in. Um, so that, I have something to present within 90 minutes. You know? That's at the moment it's a bit like that. Because I feel like I haven't done enough of these to be at that stage um that I know I don't have to worry so much, I guess. At this stage, I have only done like 5 of these 90-minute art challenges. Um, I think on the Tumblr they're up to like the 90s. I think like 90 art challenges that they've done before, as far as I know. Um, so imagine doing 90 of them, there's quite a bit. They've done like one a week for the last um year and a bit, nearly 2 years or something like that. So, you know, that's they must be experts. And I see them paint it. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? They did that within an hour and a half. But yeah, they've been doing it for so long, and they are like the people that um are doing them. Bobby Chill's professional. The most of them are pretty up there, um, and they can do really well within 90 minutes. um, but however, I still feel like I've had something to uh, add to that in a way. uh, an interesting art piece that I've created. Um, I feel like I've gotten better now than I would have in the past. Um, you know, I really think that maybe if I did these like ages ago, um, that I could have improved a lot more. But I'm doing them now, and it was only discovered about a year and a half ago, obviously, that 90 weeks ago, I think. Um, and then I was really working on doing my children's book and getting that out there, and that was good. And I don't regret it. I still am working on that slowly. I'm just on the side. I am doing the last little bits on that while I'm doing these 90-minute art challenges. These 90-minute art challenges take one night a week to do. So basically, I only have to do this for one night a week to keep up with my YouTube channel, and then I still have to do weekly tips. Usually do that on the weekend, alright. Some weekends, are better than others, and that, don't get much done. Um, and I'm quite busy and things like that, so yeah, I don't get the weekly tips done sometimes. But that's okay. I kind of jot it down. I've this week, I didn't get like weekly tips done, but I have started now on this week's one, and kind of halfway through there, I've done the 2 drawings for that so far. It's usually roughly about 4 drawings. Usually it takes me roughly 90 minutes, which is funny because I did last week's weekly tips, which was painting a pug's face within 90 minutes, like literally. And I laughed at that. I was like, oh, I could make this a 90-minute art challenge and paint this pug within 90 minutes. And it ended up that way anyway. That I actually had an hour and a half of me painting this pug. And I was, oh my gosh, really? Right on the dot. I was like, oh my gosh. You know? everything's a 90-minute art challenge now, you know. But yeah, it was cool. Um, I could have worked a lot longer on that pug. I could have worked a lot less as well, you know. But um, I think I did well with that pug anyway, you know. So I got to the point where I was pretty happy with what I created for it. Um, and enough to show you guys as well, you know, my YouTube channel and people interested in that video. Um, that showed you guys, you know, how to kind of paint and how I paint. You know, I'm not um obviously the end of it all. I just, you know, showing you the way I paint it, the things I am dealing with, you know, whether it's um I'm dealing when I'm thinking of painting something, for instance, you know, here dealing with some of the branches and trying to really render out some branches, but trying to keep um, some some of the because they're like fern things, the ferny bush tree, like a Christmas tree. Um, yeah, keeping some really crisp and like rendered and in your face, and some less crisp and not in your face. Now, you know, I've always kind of just used the hard round brush, um, and I'm slowly trying to bring in a soft round brush as well, and trying to use that to better um, my image the best I can. Yeah, I'm slowly getting into that. I was like, oh, okay, well, let's try that. But I've always been, you know, I guess a one-trick pony. Just using um, the one brush to paint everything. Um, but you know, I'm slowly trying to bring in that I still need to have like a softer, rounder brush to render out some of the buzziness and the blurriness in some of the imagery. Usually the way I do it is that, you know, I paint it all and everything like that, and if I need to blur out, I use like a blur effect. Usually that's how I've done things. Um, but there's other ways to achieve it, so I'm going to try these other ways, and it probably work out for the best, and that's what's important, and try these new things. Um, I feel like I could have done it a lot earlier, you know, a few years ago or something like that. Um, but it's there to, you know, now that I'm going to higher levels, I guess I'm learning these things. Um, you know, everyone's on their own journey in a way, you know. But yeah, you know, I feel like with this, what I've done here with the beam going on, um, I had a comment that it looks like he's eating some kind of stick on a stick, you know. And I had that little bit of an issue that it wasn't, you know, portraying that. Um, and with adding that light beam, I've added some highlights and also some darker tones within the image itself, um, with that beam to really portray that beam being there. It's not a word for word copy of what I see in the image to what I've created as well. And that's always good to do as well, you know, it's, you know, your image should look like your image in a way, you know, it shouldn't look like if you're adding something into a image that you're creating, like like what I'm doing here where I've taken the squirrel thingy, and now he doesn't have a nut in his mouth. He is actually, um, he's actually, uh, I would say spewing, but he's actually throwing this beam through his mouth, out. You know, I've I haven't just kind of taken this image and draw this image and added, you know, this beam coming out of his mouth. I've changed it up a little bit more than that, so it actually feels like, you know, he's putting a beam out of his mouth. He's got these his hands are around his face to show that, he's holding his face while he's throwing this beam out of his mouth, as well as also where it is, it's quite vibrant, this beam that he's shooting out of his mouth. So therefore, it adds a few more highlights to some of the surrounding areas, as well as, darker tones and things like that. For instance, if I was to, um, you know, take a photo of myself or something like that, um, and I wanted of me maybe, pretending to throw an axe or pretending to hold a lightsaber or something like that. Um, you know, you kind of need to, when you add that image in, you add the axe or the lightsaber, you make it feel like it's added in there as well. It's not just being plonked in there. It's like, oh, you can fakely see that this guy has photoshopped someone holding something, and you can clearly tell that it's, completely just plonked in. And it's the same for painting. If you don't do it right, it looks like it's just, this image, but this is plonked in and it doesn't fit anywhere. um you have to make it fit with its, illustration. Make sure that it fits within, adds, it actually feels like it's there and living there. And same with this beam, I'm trying to make it feel like a beam and it's coming towards you, and that it's, what it is, a beam coming out of his mouth. I've added some see-throughness to the beam there, as I've talked about before. What has, brought it a bit forward now, it feels less like um an object that's in his mouth, or um, less like maybe something coming out of his mouth. It's still kind of coming out of his mouth, but yeah, it feels more like, what I'm saying is a beam. Um, Even here, I still feel like I haven't quite hit the mark, but I've attempted to hit the mark. And that's what's important, trying to kind of attempt to hit the mark. Because you can only do the best you can do in the end. But if you keep attempting, if you keep attempting to hit the mark over and over again, eventually you'll be able to hit that mark. So, you keep on going, keep on trying. Um, I surprised myself. I think with one of the 90-minute art challenge I was doing, I was really, really frustrated with it. Um, But in the end, I think I did okay, But this one was the total opposite. I don't think I ever got kind of frustrated with it. I just kind of painted it. I think the previous painting I did, um, yeah, the man in the clouds one, um, that one I kind of a little bit got frustrated trying to, not so much. I don't think as bad as one of the others, but um, just a little bit trying to, figure out that smoke and trying to get that looking like smoke, but not too frustrated. I was just kind of painting along, trying to get it done. Um, but with this one, it was like, my usual kind of thing that I do, in a way. I feel like it could be better though. There are things that I could fix up and but it's within 90 minutes, so um it's not meant to be your best work, I guess. It can be, if it is spot on, you can do something really awesome within an hour and a half, but um yeah. um but I definitely, could take this further as well if I really wanted to make this image um look amazing. I could do, another layer, another hour and a half working on this piece. So yeah, awesome. We're about halfway through the stream, so thanks for joining me. If you have joined me, feel free to go and check out my YouTube channel. And this was streamed on Twitch as well. Usually I stream on Twitch and then I export it to YouTube straight afterwards. Um, Now, with Twitch, I also could have had um like partnership with them, but the only problem with that is that I would have to not be able to export to YouTube, which is a problem for me. Within, I think it was like 24 hours, that, you know, that I couldn't export to YouTube. So, that kind of is annoying because I like to um, have it all done and then I export it um, to YouTube usually that night. And, it is possible that I could go for the Twitch um, partnership or whatever, um, and still kind of get away with it, but I'd have to kind of be a week ahead. And that is challenging. If I'm not a week ahead, it means that maybe one weekend I could like it could be bad that I couldn't have my video go up on YouTube. Um, but so that's why I keep it, as well as that I feel like for doing that I don't have a big enough audience really on Twitch. Um, I don't really stream too often on Twitch. I only do my Tuesday streams and these streams here. And the reason I do um, stream them to YouTube is so I don't have to do any post editing after making the video. I basically um, just have to you know um, make the video, talk over it, and put it on YouTube. So it's easy for me basically. There's no extra editing involved. It's all pretty much live and done, which is kind of good for me. I don't want to sit there editing a 45-minute video if I don't have to. You know, I've had times where I have edited a few times, um, and but not too often. And I don't have to wait for exports too, because the exporting is annoying. For this whole process, um, I have to kind of export my whole painting. I have to export my whole painting, basically, of all the recorded time I've got, whether, this obviously is 90 minutes. With some of my paintings, it can be, um, usually I split it up into parts, but, I of whole recorded time's about 9 hours for some of them. Some pieces I do. Some it's a bit shorter, things like that. But I usually split them up with parts. So part one might be 3 hours or 2 hours, and then part two will be 2 hours. For 90 minutes, they're obviously 90 minutes. So I just have to get all the video, that 90-minute video, and then export them. Speed it up. Export that, and then chat over it. Whatever I'm doing with it, I might be talking with artists, I might be just chatting with it, or something like that, like what I'm doing now. Um, yeah. So another kind of once I've talked over it, another export on top of that, and as well as putting it up on YouTube. With putting it up on YouTube, gets annoying because you have to um, actually export to YouTube, which can take, depending on the size of your file, it can take up to like an hour or something. Um, where if I do it this Twitch way, it's easy, because I just push export um, on Twitch here, and it's usually all ready to go on YouTube within an hour, 2 hours. And then that little final tweak, little edit at the start that I do, which is just, my starter sequence, getting rid of that little noise at the start of my video before the starter sequence, which only takes about 2 minutes to edit and maybe takes YouTube, 2 hours to update it. So, and it's no work or effort on my side. So that's what I like about it, having Twitch, to, paint and export on. With my Tuesday streams, I just kind of practicing these streams in a way. I'm just, um, yeah, I just kind of am painting while I'm chatting. I have done, I think, one or two 90-minute art challenges on a Tuesday. What I usually do is, you know, um, is on the Tuesday, I'm just working on something. I'm usually working on my book or a painting or some drawing. This week I was working on a weekly tips drawing, um, that I'll be doing in a couple of weeks or so. So just working on that drawing, um, which was, yeah, all good. Um, and But I don't really usually do 90-minute art challenges because I don't want to stream for the whole 90 minutes, as well, usually. Um, yeah. And it's kind of daunting too, doing the 90-minute art challenge while eyes are all over you, I guess, as well. There's that too. Um, I've done it before and it's been fun to do it during stream as well, but yeah, I do like to um, pause it, and I could still pause it within my streams, but yeah, it would mean that my stream would be a little bit longer than an hour and a half. Um, yeah, yeah, but it's been all good. And here you can see me. I play around a little bit with layers and um, soft brushes and things like that to try and add to my painting because it's starting to be close to the finish of the painting. And that's with this painting in particular, it's at the point where, it's already good enough. Now I can start adding that last little bit of polish that I want to add, or the last polishes that I want to finish with. Obviously, I'm not fully happy with it. I would have, um, if I had more time, I would have maybe fixed up the face a little bit more now looking at it, um, and worked on, yeah, really refixing it up or something like that. Maybe even start repainting it from the stage or something like that. Um, you know, a little bit more editing and things like that I would be doing. Um, but since I don't have a lot of time at this stage, probably 15, 20 minutes, I don't have the time here to kind of start out, um, yes, fixing those big mistakes I've made. Um, but that's what it is, and I keep moving forward on it and just trying to um, try new things, and that's what I think that I'm trying here. I'm trying new things. Here I'm dialing back the color in some spots as well, seeing if that helps my illustration. That was a thing that I've heard from Will Terry. He talks about using color and how towards the back, you know going back in your painting in the distance, less things are less saturated, less colorful. um it brings out the colors in the foreground much better, um and things like that, using uh saturation as well as being brighter in the distance, lighter and darker in the foreground. Those things um, is also kind of important, um, because and also using it like as a vocal point. Where your viewer wants to look, having the most appealing and interesting color, where places that you don't want them to look or not so focused on have less interesting colors and less details and things like that. It is a little kind of obvious per se, but the amount of times I feel like I failed it, it's still it still comes up. It's still a learning curve, um, that I'm slowly you know, getting better at. And that's the thing, within these 90-minute art challenges, I get time to explore these things. Um, you know, I'm not so focused on making the most perfect picture in the world. I do want to create a really awesome image between 90 minutes. But I do, just try my best, and some of them I have completely failed, and I feel like I've completely failed. Um, you look at them, they're not too bad, but you know, even this one, you know, on the one, I'd say one being completely failed, and 10 would have been passed with flying colors. Um, I would, for me, I would give it maybe um I would give it a kind of a 6 for me. Um, because I don't feel like I completely failed it. But yeah, I still feel like there's things that I need to work on, and challenges there are still to come to get better at this kind of image. Yeah. And yeah. But I've added something interesting to the image. I didn't copy the image word for word. Um, I've just taken the image and created my own from it. Um, yeah. But even then, you can still kind of see some of the reference material, um, and see what I've done versus what the image looks like, and um, still tell the differences. Yeah. So I'm getting close to the end. You can see I'm just kind of doing last little details here, last little edits that I'm like, oh, okay, I'll add bits here and there. Um, last little highlights that I'm doing as I go forth and conquer it. But yeah, it's pretty much um there. I still, there's probably if I spend another hour and a half per se on it, I think I would blow it out a little bit more, and there would be things I'd add as well. Things I didn't get a chance to within the 90 minutes. But I got the gist of it. I got um an understanding for, painting this kind of thing, and seeing where I failed and what to bring into maybe the next one of the next 90-minute art challenges I do, or one of the next illustrations I do that um, has this kind of thing like foliage or a squirrel throwing a beam at someone or um, just in general, I don't know, something that's or this kind of background where he's in a bush, but the some of the bushes is not in focus, losing focus and things like that. Um, there's, you have all these skills, and this painting or something kind of gives you, some of those little skills are, you know, gaining some XP in it, um, in those different kind of fields. So I feel like I did okay. Like I said, probably on scale of 1 being completely failed and a scale of 10 being absolutely mastered. I'd give it about 6. Because I definitely didn't master it all, and I don't think I completely failed, um, but I still feel there's quite a bit of oomph to um, give it if I was to give it anywhere near a 10. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Whether you join me live on Twitch, which link is down in the description for you on YouTube, or you checked me out on YouTube. Um, thanks for joining me. Hopefully you guys do your own 90-minute challenges. Let me know down below what your thoughts are if you have done any 90-minute art challenges, and anything like that. Yeah. Keep drawing, everyone. Keep creating, and see you in the next video.